We kept getting packages for a name we didn't recognize. I returned them every time. Then our mail started going missing. Bank statements. Hospital letters. One day I got a call. "You've been approved for a home loan in another state." I never applied. When I tracked it, the address was familiar, our neighbor's rental property. I went over. He smirked and said, "You left your trash outside too long. I just picked up what you didn't want anymore." From the day Dana and I moved into our first home in Lexington, Kentucky, he rubbed me the wrong way. Always watching, always loud. He owned a rental property across the street, one of those guys who made you feel like he was doing you a favor by existing near you. Shirtless with a beer, showing off tattoos and cheap muscles. He wasn't rude, but something about him felt off. Our house meant everything to us. We spent years saving for the down payment. Every extra shift I picked up, every birthday dinner we skipped, it all went into that 2-story house on Parkside Lane. We weren't rich. We weren't flashy. We just wanted a place to build a life. The first time a package came for Terry Hensley, I thought it was a mistake. It was early December, just after the holidays. The box was small, brown, and taped up tight. Addressed to our home, but with a name I didn't recognize. I left it on the porch, thinking maybe it was for someone nearby. When no one claimed it, I returned it to the post office and told them it wasn't ours. They shrugged. "It happens sometimes," they said. But then it happened again. And again. Over the next few weeks, more boxes showed up. Different shipping companies. Always to Terry Hensley. Always our address. I asked around the neighborhood. Nobody knew a Terry. Dana started to worry, and I can't blame her. It felt like we were being watched, or targeted. So I taped a note to our mailbox. "No one named Terry lives here. Return to sender." But the packages didn't stop. Then our own mail started disappearing. It began small. We were supposed to get our health insurance renewal in January. Never showed. Dana called the company. They said it had already been mailed weeks ago. Same with our bank. Statements were sent. We got nothing. Even some of our tax documents went missing. At first, I thought maybe a neighbor kid was messing around. Or the mail carrier was just lazy. I filed a complaint at the post office. They promised to look into it. That's when I started checking the mailbox every single day. Sometimes I even waited for the carrier. But it was too late. Mid-February, I got a call from a mortgage lender in Oklahoma. The woman on the line sounded cheerful. "Hi, Mr. Sutterfield. I'm calling to confirm that your home loan application for the Tulsa property has been approved. We just need a few final signatures." I cut her off. "What home loan?" A pause. She repeated my name, address, birthday. It matched. Everything matched. My blood ran cold. "I didn't apply for any home loan. I don't even live in Oklahoma." There was a long, awkward silence. She said she'd escalate the issue and call me back. She never did. I called Dana at work. I could barely speak straight. She came home early. We sat at the kitchen table in silence, the untouched mail in a pile in front of us. That night I dug. I pulled our credit reports. There it was. A hard inquiry from a lender in Tulsa. Application details matched mine, except for the employer and the email address. Both were fake. The property listed on the application? It was familiar. I'd seen it before. It was one of Joel's rental homes. A quick online search confirmed it. Same guy. Same LLC. My stomach turned. I couldn't sleep. I paced the house all night, imagining every piece of mail he could have stolen. Our W-2s. Our SSNs, insurance cards. Credit offers. All tossed in the bin before recycling pickup. Right there. On our porch. He must have been going through it for months. The next day, I walked across the street and rang Joel's doorbell. He answered with that smug look he always wore. Shirtless again, holding a Miller Lite. He looked me up and down like I was interrupting his vacation. "Hey, Chris. What's up?" I didn't waste time. "You know anything about someone using my name to buy a house in Tulsa?" He smirked wider. Took a sip of his beer. "I just picked up what you didn't want anymore," he said. "You leave it out in the open, someone's gonna clean it up." I froze. He didn't deny it. Didn't even try to hide it. He just stared at me like he won something. I didn't say another word. I turned around, walked home, and locked the door. But inside? I was already planning how to end him. I didn't sleep for 2 nights. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Joel's smirk. That smug, careless look like none of this mattered. Like stealing our life was just a game to him. I stayed up late with my laptop, digging through every public record, social media post, and property listing tied to his name or his LLC. Turns out, Joel had more than just the house across the street. He had 5 rentals total. 1 in Tulsa, the one tied to my stolen identity, and 4 more scattered around Kentucky. He ran them all under the name Red Pike Holdings LLC. Cheap houses he rented out to college students, immigrants, and people too tired to fight back. But here's the thing, he wasn't careful. I found complaints online. Reviews buried on landlord forums. Tenants saying he never fixed broken windows, ignored black mold, even threatened people when they withheld rent. The more I found, the more I realized, this guy had been screwing people for years. I wasn't just a victim. I was the latest in a long line. So I got organized. First, I called an old college friend, Nate. He works in cybersecurity now. I gave him what I had, Joel's full name, his LLC, and the email used in the fake loan app. Within a day, Nate sent back a list of connected accounts, burner emails, crypto wallets, and weird online usernames. Joel was sloppy. He used the same usernames across scam forums. There were posts going back years. Identity theft. Credit card fraud. Selling fake IDs. Running phishing scams. And always from the same IP blocks. Registered right here in Lexington. I made copies of everything. Then I went local. I visited the tenants in Joel's other Lexington properties. I knocked, introduced myself, and told them the truth. I wasn't trying to scare them, I just needed to know if they'd had similar problems. Most didn't answer. But one guy, Armin, let me in. Armin was a grad student. He said Joel never fixed anything. The sink leaked constantly. The back window was boarded up with cardboard. When Armin asked for repairs, Joel sent him a text that said, "If you don't like it, move. But you won't get your deposit back." That was Joel. A bully in a cheap suit. Armin showed me his lease. It had errors, real legal issues. No repair clause. No disclosure forms. All of it could get Joel in trouble. I thanked him, left my number, and said, "Help's coming. Soon." Back home, I made a folder. Labeled it, Joel's Empire. Inside were screenshots, documents, rental agreements, and scam forum threads. I didn't go to the police yet. I had a bigger idea first. A week later, I got another letter addressed to Terry Hensley. This time, I opened it. It was a bank notice. Not about a loan, but a business checking account. Set up under Terry's name. At a local bank in town. That's when it hit me, Joel wasn't just stealing my mail. He was using Terry Hensley as a shield. A fake identity he'd built years ago. Someone else's dead life, reanimated like a puppet. So I went to the courthouse and looked up death certificates. I found Terry Hensley. Died in Arizona in 2020. No living relatives listed. Joel had picked him on purpose. A clean ghost. But something didn't add up. The signature on the bank letter wasn't Joel's. It was someone else's. I checked Nate's email dump again. One of the burner emails had been accessed from 2 separate IPs. One from Lexington. One from Indiana. Joel had a partner. And whoever they were, they had access to my identity too. 2 days later, Dana got a letter from the DMV. Her license renewal had been flagged. According to their system, she'd already applied for a new license in Ohio. She hadn't. But now it was happening to both of us. I lost it. I sat down and wrote out every event, every package, every missing document. I filed a full identity theft report with the FTC and local police. I gave them copies of Joel's scam records, the emails, the burner phones. I even handed over the name, Terry Hensley. But law enforcement moved slow. They always do. So I moved faster. The cops said they were looking into it. Whatever that means. I knew Joel had time. Time to cover his tracks. Time to hurt someone else. I wasn't going to wait. So I kept going after the tenants. Over the next 3 weeks, I personally spoke to 6 of them, people living in his rental homes. They were tired. Angry. One woman, Tasha, had mold growing up her bedroom wall. Another guy, Leo, said Joel threatened eviction after he asked for a working heater. Every story was the same. Joel rented junk houses, ignored repairs, and bullied anyone who complained. Most were too afraid to fight back. So I gave them something else, a way to burn him down. I showed them where to file tenant complaints. I gave them templates for reporting unsafe housing to the city's code enforcement office. I helped them draft letters demanding return of their security deposits. I even walked one guy through how to file in small claims court. Then I did something bold. I mailed anonymous letters to every tenant in all 5 of Joel's known properties. Same letter each time. Your landlord is under federal investigation for identity theft, fraud, and illegal rental practices. Contact the housing authority and your attorney immediately. You have rights. He counts on you not knowing them. Within a month, 3 of Joel's properties were under city review. 1 got condemned. 2 tenants moved out early, legally, because of uninhabitable conditions. Rent stopped flowing. His little empire started leaking money fast. One morning, Dana got a call from her old job. The HR rep was confused. Hi, did you apply for a transfer to our Phoenix branch? Dana hadn't worked there in almost 2 years. They said someone using her name and employee ID had logged into the HR portal and changed her contact info. Even submitted direct deposit details to a new bank. That new bank? Same one linked to the fake, Terry Hensley, account. Now they were targeting her job history. Joel, or someone working with him, was building false employment histories under our names. Probably trying to open more lines of credit, or push another loan through somewhere else. It was spreading. That night, I sat with Dana at the kitchen table. She looked exhausted. Pale. Her hands were shaking as she sifted through letters and notes. She wasn't sleeping either. I held her hand and said, "We're gonna fix this. But first, I'm going to bury him." She didn't say a word. Just nodded. I knew I was getting to him. One morning, I saw him outside on the porch, but no beer, no smirk. Just him pacing on the phone, yelling into it. Loud enough I caught a few words. "I don't know who's feeding them this crap. If they all stop paying rent, I'm screwed. Just handle it." A few nights later, someone dumped trash all over our front lawn. Broken glass. Food. Even some torn up mail. Joel's way of sending a message. I didn't rise to it. I cleaned it up and said nothing. That's what he wanted, for me to explode. Instead, I got quieter. But I started watching. Late at night, I'd sit near the window. Around 2 a.m. I saw a figure creeping down the street, lifting mailboxes. It wasn't Joel. It was a younger guy, maybe 20s. Hoodie. Backpack. Walking fast. He stopped at Joel's house, walked right in without knocking. His partner. Now I had a face. But no name yet. A few days later, a local property records search showed a quiet transfer of ownership. Joel moved one of his houses, not the one in Tulsa, into a new name, Brandon Reams. I ran the name. It wasn't clean. Brandon had a sealed juvenile record. Multiple minor arrests. And most importantly, he was Joel's cousin. I found his Facebook. He was in the background of old birthday photos Joel had posted years ago. I screenshotted everything. Then I found his current location, Louisville, just 90 minutes away. Brandon was likely the one stealing the mail at night. The one setting up fake bank accounts and helping Joel clean the money. Now I had both of them. Names, links, and faces. I had everything I needed. Joel. Brandon. The fake identities. The stolen mail. The fake loan. The angry tenants. The broken homes. The trail of scams stretching across states. I gave it all to the police. Again. This time, I didn't just file a report, I made it impossible for them to ignore me. I emailed every document to the Lexington PD, the state attorney general, the Kentucky Real Estate Commission, and a local reporter named Shelley who ran a column called The Neighborhood Watchdog. She liked stories about bad landlords. I gave her one with teeth. She emailed me back the same day. "This is gold," she wrote. "It's going to print." 3 days later, the headline ran on the front page of the Lexington Gazette. Mail fraud, ID theft, and scam rentals, the dark empire of Red Pike Holdings. It had Joel's face. His house. A pixelated photo of Brandon from a blurred security cam. The article laid everything out. How our identities were stolen, how our mail vanished, how renters were living in unsafe conditions under the threat of eviction. The fallout was instant. Joel's tenants stopped paying rent. All of them. Every single one. His properties were slapped with multiple code violations. City inspectors came in waves. 1 house was condemned. 2 had shut off notices for unpaid utilities. Then came the state audit. Turns out, Joel hadn't paid taxes on rental income for at least 2 years. He'd been reporting false deductions, claiming repairs that never happened, funneling money through shell accounts that traced back to Brandon's name. It was enough to trigger a full investigation. That week, the police came for him. I stood on the porch when the unmarked cars pulled up. Dana beside me. We watched them cuff him right there in the driveway. He didn't fight. He didn't say a word. He just stared at us, eyes hollow, like he knew it was over. Then he looked at me. You think this makes you better than me? He called out. You think your hands are clean? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. But he wasn't wrong, not completely. In my rage, I crossed the line. I'd hacked into his email. Well, Nate did. But I asked him to. I read Joel's messages, saw private documents, accessed bank info I shouldn't have touched. Even some of the fake accounts he created using my identity. I logged in, printed proof, and sent them to the banks directly. Technically, that's illegal. When federal agents questioned me about how I got the documents, I lied. Said they appeared in my mailbox. Maybe they believed me. Maybe they just didn't care, because Joel was worse. But part of me knows, I bent the law to fix my life. I don't regret it. But I remember it. Joel is facing 6 charges: mail fraud, wire fraud, identity theft, tax evasion, tenant endangerment, and conspiracy. Brandon cut a deal. Flipped on him fast. Testified in exchange for reduced time. They seized everything. All 5 houses. His accounts. His cars. Red Pike Holdings? Gone. Joel's name is radioactive now. Nobody will rent from him. Nobody will loan to him. He's got at least 12 years if convicted. And from what I hear, he's already been denied bail. It took 6 months to clear our names. Fix our credit. Rebuild our accounts. Freeze everything. We installed a locking mailbox. A security system. We shred every scrap of mail now. There's a scar there, one you can't see. A little paranoia that never leaves. A twitch in my hand every time I hear the mailbox rattle. But we're okay. He tried to take our lives. We took his empire. And when I sleep now, it's deeper than before. Because I know something he never understood. You mess with people's lives? You don't get to keep yours.